Welcome to the Table Rush Talk Show, where we dive deep into entrepreneurship, marketing, and personal growth. I'm your host, Misha Zvegansoff, and today's guest is Christa Nichols. She's a copywriting expert who's generated over 1.5 million in revenue through her business and Wordy Mama community. She's worked with top industry names and even contributed to seven-figure launches. Get ready to learn game-changing copy strategies to boost your marketing success. Christa, welcome to the show.
Oh, yes, that is my favorite thing to talk about. I'm so ready.
Amazing. And you are a gifted copywriter. I use you as you help me with my copywriting all the time, do copy for me. So I can't say enough positive things about you in that regard. But again, you've worked with Russell Brunson, you've worked with Rachel Peterson, all these amazing influencers and marketers and things like that. You post a lot across the social media channels, and
Mhm.
I saw a post from you that you said, I don't know, it was a pretty big day. Maybe this was a month or so ago, where you're like, oh my gosh, I've generated $1.5 million in my business for your business over the last 3 years. And I know how much, well, I have an idea of how much work that is because I'm trying to get there myself. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to know the story. So let's dive into the story. I mean, 3 years from what, stay-at-home mom to now this incredible copywriting community.
Yes. So actually, it was 6 years.
Oh, 6 years.
But
Okay.
I would love to say that. That would be great. But yeah, in 2017, I had a failed business. I'd been working as a graphic designer in the livestock industry. I made sale catalogs for cattle auctions from the time I graduated from college up until 2016, 2017. And I got a phone call one day, and it was the office manager of our main client. So we had one main client that was 80% of our contracts. And the office manager said, "Hey, Christa, I am packing up my desk right now. And I know they haven't told you yet, but I felt like you deserve to know that they're retiring," meaning the owners of the company. "And this is my last day. They're not going to be doing cattle auctions anymore." And that was how I found out that my entire business was getting ready to lose 80% of its income, like with no warning whatsoever. And at that point in my life, I just kind of took for granted that that business was always going to be. I didn't have a plan B. I knew, that eventually people retire and they close their businesses, but it never once occurred to me to have a contingency plan should that happen with this. Honestly, it just never occurred to me. And it threw me into panic. You're like, okay, then, because earlier that summer, we had retired my husband from his position as a supervisor in a construction crew because of a shoulder injury. He couldn't do it anymore. And we had also just finished the paperwork for open enrolling our kids so that we could homeschool them and still have them be able to do sports and stuff with the local school. Such
Wow.
great timing. I tell
Oh
you
my
what, it was
God.
crazy. And so it was one of those do or die situations where you're like, all right, you have to figure something out and you have a decision to make. So I had never really been in the workforce because I started this little side hustle thing the minute I graduated from college. I didn't have a resume. I didn't have like referrals, recommendations, but I knew I had skills. And so I was like, okay, I could go out and get a job. But I live literally in the middle of the cornfields of Iowa. I would have to travel at least an hour one way to get to a large enough town to even be able to think about landing something that would support us. And I knew it would be like starting at the bottom. And there I was 37, whatever. And you can't compete with a young and hungry 22-year-old who doesn't have two kids and a full mortgage. And, so I was like, okay, I could do that. Or I could just figure something out that would let us still be here and have the lifestyle that we have had, where we own our own business, we set our own schedule, we choose our own clients. And so that's what we decided to do. We're like, okay, you got to figure something out. So let's go into learning mode. And
Yeah. Can
yeah,
I can I ask a question real quick? Or
yeah,
I
absolutely.
just want to say two striking things. One, I grew up in Jackson, Wyoming, mountains, skiing, snow, things like that. Now I live in coastal California, so it's oceans and sun. And I again, your social media, I see you posting about Iowa,
Mhm.
literally your field of dreams.
Yeah.
Right? You're like in the field of dreams, and it's beautiful, but it is that's not rural America. Would you
Oh,
say
it
that's
is.
rural? Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah. Yep.
rural America. Like literally, like you show pictures of where you live and you see nothing on the horizon other
Right.
than
Our
fields
nearest
and
neighbor is 2.5 miles away.
oh my gosh, it's incredible. I think it's beautiful and it's amazing. I'm always captivated by you just did a bunch of work on your deck. And I'm like,
We
oh my
did.
gosh, I want a deck like that that I can sit on and smoke a corn cob pipe or something like
Right?
that.
You could. There's lots of corn cobs here. Come on over.
Yeah, you're like, this bores me, but me, I'm fascinated by it. I'm sorry. Um, and then I was gonna say 37, I understand that. And I think it's even more and more these days with the way AI is coming on and technology is coming on. Boy, we can feel outdated really quick and feel like, man, how am I going to compete with the younger crowd? I feel it in my 50s. So I definitely understand that. Yeah, what a heavy time. But go on. I just wanted to
Yeah,
comment on
it
that.
was crazy. So I was like, okay, I know I can learn. I may not know exactly where this is going or where I'm going to end up, but I can learn new things. So I decided I was going to learn how to promote my services as a graphic designer, as a, small website designer on social media. And I found a group that was run by Rachel Peterson, my very first business coach, and started learning about how to use social media to leverage your attention online. And as I got into that and I started learning more about different things that people can do to offer services online, for the first time ever, I realized I didn't have to be a graphic designer. I didn't have to create websites if I didn't want to. What if there were other things out there that I liked more? I should really try to figure that out. So I hung up a little shingle as I called myself a social media manager, but basically I did everything. Whatever the client wanted, I would just say yes and I would go figure it out. Like if I didn't know how to do it, I would just go learn how to do it and I would do it. And I landed clients, I was making money, but I was also working like 60 to 80 hours a week. And most of the services that I was offering, I didn't even enjoy. And when you're offering everything under the sun, you don't have time to get really good at anything, right? Like you're kind of halfway decent at, creating graphics and scheduling them and doing the funnels and the video editing and this and that, but you have no time and no freedom in your life to really figure anything out. You're just trying to keep your head above water. And I did that for like 6 months until my husband saved the day. He found me crying on the floor in our bedroom, literally picks me up, sat me down, and he's like, look, I see what you're doing here, but you have to stop. This isn't why we decided that we wanted our own business, right? We wanted this so that we could spend more time together and with our kids. And you're here, but you're not here. Like, we'll figure this out. I have total and complete faith in you that we can make a go of this, but not like this. And so he was like, I don't care if it bombs. I don't care if you have to try several things and it fails, but cut some stuff out. Whatever you don't like doing, just don't do that anymore and we'll figure it out. And so I narrowed it down to two things that I found that I was halfway decent at and that I enjoyed doing. One of them was sales copywriting. And that was kind of my beginning as a writer in the online space and started attracting more clients in that way. That was the beginning of 2018. I spent a year running ads and writing ad copy inside of an agency, which was an amazing education in how conversion works and how paid traffic works. And by the time 2019 rolled around, I was dealing with a full load of clients on the agency side and a full load of clients from people who had found me through the agency, through referrals as a sales copywriter. And so again, my husband took him 4 months to convince me, but he's like, okay, you're ready. It's time. You're ready. Like, this is the business that you're supposed to have. And it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to be in charge of my own lead gen. I don't, but he was right. I was never going to know if I didn't try it. So at the beginning of 2019, I gave my notice at the agency and I started promoting myself as a sales copywriter only. That was the only service I was going to offer. And that was when I met you, I think, at Funnel Hacking Live, joined the 2 Comma Club coaching program. Because when I hung up my shingle offering one specialty, our income tripled in 60 days. So my monthly revenue, just by giving myself the time and space to get really good at something over the course of that year in 2018, I was able to become an expert and use that reputation of getting results for clients to land more clients. And suddenly my business took off. So I made 6 figures in 2018, but I made $250,000 in 2019, and it just kind of went on from there. It was very fast. It was very fast. I had no basis of like how to do this. I did not plan for this. We started out, we're like, we just gotta pay our bills. But instead I stumbled into this calling and love for doing this, offering the services that I offer. So it was crazy, crazy wild ride, but now I get to do something I love and make an impact bigger than I ever thought I would be able to.
That's incredible. So, boy, I've got a lot of. I'm thinking, what a gift that you got to work for the agency and learn
Oh,
the ads
yes,
side of things and stuff like that, right? And then
absolutely.
so when you went out on your own in 2019, are you running ads to know how are you promoting yourself? How are you generating the opportunities to make that $250,000?
Well, a lot of it was networking, connection, referrals. I was in a mastermind. I was in 2 masterminds by that time, actually, Rachel's Click and then the 2 Comma Club X program. And just a lot of referrals, honestly, people who had worked with me enjoyed it. And then they told their friends who told their friends and told their friends. And so for a long time, my business just generated referrals like that. And that was great. It was a great way to really build that solid foundation of testimonials and, work results so that when the time came that I, was going out and doing more cold outreach, I had that foundation under me in my business.
Yeah. So what's it called? What
The
click?
social click.
Social click. The social click. So you joined two interesting things too. You got to, well, I know you teach now into Rachel Peterson's social click. Don't you still to this day teach
I
copywriting to
did
her
for
people?
2 or 3 years. I was the copy coach in there. Mhm.
Yeah, and then you did the same thing for a number of years into Russell Brunson's coaching. And
Yep.
so how do those develop for you? It's just you're good at what you do, you're personable, it's the natural next step, or
You know, I did not plan on becoming a coach necessarily, but when you go from, 6,000 in revenue a month to 20 some, and you've got more projects coming in than you can take on, you're like, okay, I need to hire help. But I wasn't yet at the point where I could really afford a copywriter who already could get the same kind of results that I could. I couldn't afford to pay another me. So I
okay.
was like, all right, I'm gonna have to train them. And that means I'm going to have to know why and how I get the results that I get. And so that's when I started creating trainings because I had to have something that would help people be able to replicate the results that I got. And as I did that and started offering for people to watch them, to get feedback and put them through the programs and had them put it to work and see if they could, if that helped them, if that framework gave them the skills and the tips that they needed. And it really did. And I realized that I really loved taking these concepts that a lot of people are like, sales copy. No, a lot of people are very intimidated by it, and breaking it down and making it a recipe, making it repeatable. And that's when I started like really seriously considering, okay, I could make a course, I could do some trainings. And so I created a whole certification program, and I started putting students through it and training writers who wanted to learn how to write sales copy. And it was awesome because at the time I was able to have some really amazing entrepreneurs do the beta test through it, and they loved it too. They weren't even copywriters. They just wanted to learn how for their own business, and some of those people were connections within the ClickFunnels world. So that was super key when it came to, being asked to step into that role within that company. So yeah, it was really just kind of a progression of, okay, this is what I have to do in order to keep my business going, but also this is going to help somebody else be able to generate income for their families too. And I just really loved being able to do that.
So your business, I think from your story, you said you out of necessity, and you just confirmed it right here. You're like out of needing to be able to grow your business and grow your team, you need to create a SOP, standard
Yeah.
operating procedure, or a course or a method for here's how I'm coming up with my copywriting, right?
Right.
So it's
Right. Because
repeatable.
I can't send my writers to one of my clients if I don't know that they're going to be able to get the same results. Like, I have a
Yeah.
reputation. And so I had to know that my clients were going to be safe with whoever I assigned things to them.
Yeah. And so you get the opportunity to teach into these amazing masterminds where there's amazing entrepreneurs, amazing people in all levels of success too. Newbies.
Yeah.
When we met, I was brand newbie into it. Or you've got people that are ready to start scaling and things
Mhm.
like that, right?
Right.
Um, so that's super fun. So you get to teach to these people, and then lots of opportunities for clients are coming from that itself too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. And so then are you have the epiphany. How do you go the wordy mama? So let's go to the wordy mama. So then like take me to wordy mama. You're like, all right, I'm gonna teach my people how to do this for me. And then you wake up in the middle
Right.
of the night, you're crying on the floor again,
Right.
or
Oh, you know what? I love that because it's like shifts and stages of a business. And one thing I've learned is that there will always be shifts and changes, no matter there's always going to be a next level. There's always going to be something that you can leverage for either personal development growth or the growth of your business. And for me, I had to make a choice of who I wanted to serve within my own courses and programs. And I knew that I could serve business owners. I could create courses that would help them get better results for their own copy. I also knew that I could train people who are already copywriters how to get better results so they could land a better level of clients. And I knew I could train people who love to write but had never really like offered their services as a freelance copywriter. And so I was trying to serve all of them within the same offers, the same courses. And it was just so hard to do the messaging when the spectrum was so broad. And really, I was on my way to a mastermind, one of Josh Latimer's masterminds. And I was thinking about something that he had said in a coaching call about niching down and being able to have a message that's so clear. It's like a siren call to the person, and how the best person that you can help is the person you were 5 years ago. And so I thought about, where was I at that point? 5 years ago, I was just somebody who liked to write, always knew that she enjoyed it and that her clients, in the graphic design world were happy whenever she wrote something for them, but had never really thought about turning it into, taking that word nerd part of her and turning it into an income generator. And I was like, that's who I was. And if that's the person I can best help, then that's the person I want to help. And that's kind of how Wordy Mama was born, because I just took that piece of, there's a lot of women out there who want to be able to stay home with their kids, or they want to have more freedom and flexibility in their lives. And they just really love words, but they've never like connected the dots to how to turn that into something that could generate income. A lot of wordy mamas like me, and that's kind of how that name was born.
Amazing. Is Wordy Mama still growing, or where are you in the arc of the Wordy Mama
I
business
am in the
community?
arc of the wordy mama right now. I'm on such an interesting path, this growth path here. The next piece of growth for that, I believe, is being able to deliver to my wordy mamas a rock solid way for them to generate leads. And so right now, I am currently on a journey myself within my own business to crack the code on some different lead gen systems and machines so that I can create something that will help my students be able to do the same thing. 2024 has been maybe one of the strangest years of my business, but also for a lot of people. I see a lot of people talking about how 2024 has been different, not bad necessarily, just different. Marketing is shifting, messaging is shifting, the way that people are consuming and making decisions about purchasing is shifting. And so I want to be able to up level what I offer my students. And so I'm working on up leveling that first with my business as a beta, and then to be able to bring that to them as well. So they're all really excited. They're like, I can't wait. Let's go.
So tell me one of them. You graciously share my guest speaking on podcasts, how to do that, leverage it, monetize it with your audience now and then. So that must be one of the systems you're testing, trying,
I
or
really enjoy using podcasts as a way to just offer value. It is effective. I love it. It's fun.
yeah, yeah, good, good. And what else do you see? What other systems? You
So
said
I'm
something.
nerding
Yeah,
out
go
right
ahead.
now on LinkedIn outreach and cold email, which I never have done before because I always, have so many referrals. But if you're brand new in the industry and you don't have the connections, you don't have referrals, that's something that's pretty necessary, especially if you want to start faster. You could build your organic platform. You can, put yourself out there in networking groups and stuff. But a lot of us, I'm kind of a weird egg because I'm pretty social. I'm an introvert, but I'm pretty social. I don't mind. I like creating content. I don't mind being out there on the internet. But a lot of us wordy mamas just want to sit behind the computer and write. So we need a way to get ourselves out there that doesn't make us feel like dying and trying to figure out what to say on social media all the time, So that's where I have kind of been focusing my energy right now for the more introverted, behind the screen type of wordy mama. Let's create something that will help her be able to plug in and generate leads that she can then nurture behind the scenes, behind the screens.
I love it. Are you implementing LinkedIn strategies and tactics on your own right now?
Yeah, I am more like behind the scenes with like direct outreach, but I do
Okay.
like LinkedIn. I'm getting more comfortable with it. I'm more of like your short form video, TikTok, Reels. However, some of the clients that I can get the best results for are not in those places necessarily. Like they're not watching the Reels. They're in a corporate office somewhere trying to figure out why their fintech device is marketing is tanking. And, so for my services, a lot of what I really like to do is go in and give them the holy grail of this is exactly what to say. Here, give this to your marketing manager, give this to your ads people, this is the message, put it out there on all channels and see what happens. So a recent client that I did that for handed over their messaging strategy report to their CMO, and within 2 years, they'd gone from 12K months to $75 million in revenue. So I need to be in the places where those types of businesses are, and LinkedIn really is that platform.
Cool. So LinkedIn for yourself, but then also what you're learning from LinkedIn so you can pass it on to the wordy mamas. You can say, hey, for this section
Yeah.
of my crew, this is what I've been doing on LinkedIn. Here's the method. Here's the process. Is this what I'm hearing you say?
Yes. Yes. Mhm.
And then at the same time, your part of your message is, hey, fintech or these companies in the shifting market right now, you better dial in your messaging or these are the shifts you need to make. I think I heard you say that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Direct outreach. So I just for a second, you're saying, hey, tell me about direct outreach. What does that mean to you? I heard you say direct outreach.
Yes. So I find that I am not a huge fan of cold inboxing necessarily. I don't enjoy that. So any type of cold outreach I do, I want it to be valuable and I want it to matter to the person that I'm reaching out to. So what I've been doing is email. And so I'll send a sequence of 3 emails that talk about my skill set and the results I've been able to get for clients, seeing if there's any interest, if they have messaging that they want somebody to look at. If they don't, that's totally cool. Then I put them on a regular list and I'll continue to just send tips and pointers and, develop those relationships. But it's just a totally unique segment of who I serve that is it's just different. Like they will not find me on Instagram.
Yeah.
I need to show up where they are. And the inbox it's where they are.
I see. So are you finding emails via I want to I don't want to I want to give you plenty of space to shine about how you serve because you serve at such a high level and you're so gifted with copywriting and you just referenced that one company that was able to go from what to 7 million? What'd you say 250,000 to what? What was that?
$12,000 months to 75 million in revenue.
Yeah, that's I mean, wow. That
That's
is
with
just
the help of an amazing marketing team that could implement everything I gave them. But yeah.
yeah. Boy, that's I mean, how incredible is that? So the I want to touch on that. So just bear with me one second and we'll dive into that. Your sequence of 3 emails, uh, are you combing LinkedIn for emails and then that's where you're getting? No.
I'm not. I'm actually using a software that helps me connect with those emails
Okay.
because it's called Apollo.io, but there are many of them that will do that.
But
But it
awesome.
allows you to search for like not just the person, but the position. So you can find the decision makers by their job title and then reach out in that way.
Amazing. And is this a LinkedIn tool or is this
It's
in
not, it's
general?
just a separate
Oh,
software. But I do
oh, cool.
think that perhaps some of the LinkedIn Sales Navigator may have some capabilities to do that. I haven't tried it though.
Oh, got it. Well, what I meant was is Apollo.io pulling data from
I
LinkedIn
think,
or
yeah, LinkedIn
multiple
is one of the
sources.
places.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Cool, cool, cool. Um, as far as the wordy mama community, you're 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 helping well, moms, obviously stay-at-home moms, nerdy copywriting. I
All
want to
right,
write
moms.
copy.
Yes, we are. We own it. It's true.
Amazing. Fabulous. Every time I see you in person, you've got this 50s flair going on. That's amazing. Right? Isn't that your
Yeah,
kind of
with my
your
little, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
so.
Cool. Yeah. Really. Anyway, what was I gonna say? So do those moms have a consistent people that they are trying to help? Do they have a consistent avatar?
Yeah, so one of the things that we go over right away, in even in my free challenge at the very beginning, is thinking about who they want to serve, who they can get the best results for, what types of skills or background knowledge are they bringing that could help them stand out in that way. So for instance, for me, if I really wanted to carry my experience from the livestock industry forward, that's something I could use to connect with um, livestock genomic companies and different things like that. So, but like leveraging like, okay, here are the things I enjoy. Here's the things I've gotten great results with for clients. Here's my background that could really be helpful and kind of helping them feel out what a good fit for them would be because there really are so many different types of services within the copywriting realm that you can offer. I also
All,
tell them though, like, and I heard this from another copywriter, Alex Catani, get paid, then get picky. Like if right? If revenue is your main concern right now, then try out different things. Start landing clients, start generating income as that grows, as you build your revenue runway, then you can start to narrow the focus. You can start saying no without feeling stressed about it because you got paid. Now you can get picky. So they get to
I
choose.
love
If
it.
they want a
Yeah.
niche right away, they can. If they want to try new things, they can. But I always encourage them to narrow the focus of their business and services in some way as soon as they can.
I'm imagining you're bringing in a lot of mamas who some who are obviously like they see what you're doing and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I get to be a copywriter," and it's instant and it's like their destiny unfolds in front of them.
Right.
You're probably getting a whole bunch though too that are like, "Oh, well, this looks interesting. This could be something that I would want to try." Does that make sense? Is there like yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So with the challenge, there are people that come in and they're like, I just wanted to check out, like, what is this actually? I like to write. Cool. And for some of them, they're like, yeah, no, I'm more into like owner's manuals and instruction guides and things like that. Totally cool. That's probably not going to, copywriting in that way is not going to be something that I'm going to be able to help them further their career. And other people come in and they're like, this is great. I've been doing this and I didn't even know it. I've been doing this for my neighbors, for my salon, for my local dime store, for my whatever. And I didn't even realize that this is what I was doing. You mean I can get paid for this? Heck yeah. you
I
know?
love that. Yeah, I bet
And
there's
then
a
some of
lot
them
of
that come in are already copywriters. They're already serving clients. They're just like, I need better systems in my business. I want to know how you do discovery calls so I can land more. And and so it's a little bit of a mix. But there's a place for every wordy mama.
I love it. Are you running a challenge soon? Can you give me a link where anybody watching, listening can go check
Yeah,
out your
so I have an
challenge?
evergreen challenge. I can absolutely drop you a link. I probably won't run a live challenge again until after Christmas, just because it's such a busy time of year. And us moms
Yes.
are so so busy at Christmas and Thanksgiving and yeah.
So
But
tell me
yes,
your okay, cool, cool. Do you have it off the top of your head or you just want to give it to me and I'll put
it's
it in the show notes?
wordymama.com. It's kind of long, but it's wordymama.com/client dash crash dash course.
Oh gosh. Krista.
I'll send it to you.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Favorite success stories of moms who have
Mhm.
come in and been able to like do something. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my favorites, Kristen. Um, I met Kristen when she was really having a hard time attracting clients, the right kind of clients who would really appreciate. She is very talented. She's a ghostwriter and helps people market their business books. And she was really having a hard time attracting the right kind of clients, projecting the confidence. She joined my free challenge and went through the portfolio building boot camp with me and just took a chance on my certification program, even though money was super tight and it was a real big scary thing. And within 10 days, I believe, of doing the portfolio boot camp, she landed a $10,000 client. And so she was like, I'm in. The certification's got my name all over it. And so I taught her my copywriting frameworks, I taught her my messaging frameworks, and she was able to take those and generate. I think she's got a multiple six-figure a year business right now and has gone on. Her confidence, her faith in herself and what her skills can do. She's been able to continue to work from home and be with her kids. And it's just been super great. Everyone who's ever gone through the entire certification program and done the work has built a six-figure business.
That's incredible. I love her LinkedIn posts, by the way. They're the best ever.
Yes. She's honestly so much better at LinkedIn than I am. She's been doing it for longer. I'm still kind of like dragging myself, in there but yeah, she's really does an awesome job on LinkedIn.
That's very cool. Let's talk about the percentage of your business, Wordy Mama versus copywriting services.
Well, for several years, I was pretty much like 50-50 split in terms of time. That gets hard. That gets hard because you want to, it just keeps you in limbo a lot of the time. Right now, most of my focus is on the agency side, and a lot of that is because I'm trying to crack the code on this cold lead gen. And so that's the space that I'm in right now. And I like that. I've, given myself permission to kind of take a step back from marketing my programs and courses because this piece is going to make those offers so much better for my clients. But also, I just really love, or for the moms, I just really love writing for clients, and I love helping them get results. And I just don't know if I'll ever fully step out of that because it keeps me current. If I'm going to teach what's working, I need to be doing what's working. So it won't be forever that I'll be marketing them again. But right now I'm really leaning in hard on like cracking the code on that cold lead gen and client acquisition.
So you just did a launch too. We were chatting the other day and you were, I don't know if tired or excited. I can't remember what, but you said, "Oh my gosh, I just got done with a seven-figure launch for one of
Yes.
your clients for."
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about that. Like, I guess what I mean, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I guess what I'm really interested is about that is, all right, so you get to help somebody do a launch where they generate seven figures. That's incredible. How did you meet the person? What'd you do for them? And then just tell me about the like what's going on in the background. Give us the dirt. How's that?
Yes. So I was sitting at my mother-in-law's. It was Easter, and I got a DM from a friend of mine in the industry, Rachel Miller. You might know her. She's yeah. And she's like, "Listen, I have somebody that I want you to meet. She's in the middle of a launch right now, and it's really not going well. She needs you to look at her copy if you can." And so even though a lot of times I would not answer right away, at a family holiday, I just did. It was one of those things where I just knew I needed to. And I accepted the connection. She sent me an email, explained what was going on. She's like, "I don't know what's happening. My last launch was seven figures and we're just limping along at this one." And so I got some more information from her, and she had 4 days left, I think, of open cart. This was in April. And so I gave her some ideas on things that she could tweak and change. I got in there and edited some of her email sequences, and they were able to recoup some of what they were hoping for at the end of that launch. And then that's when the real work began, because she's like, "I didn't have a copywriter. I hired an expert consultant to tell me what to put on there, and it didn't work. I need you to fix it. What you did with the emails worked. So tell me what else we need to do." And so over the next 6 months, we kind of re-examined the different programs and courses that she offers and the messaging behind it, and just, kind of got that tweaked and dialed in with some smaller type course launches, figured out like what her audience was responding to today, because like I said, there's cultural and societal and economic shifts that happen all the time, and people's purchase behaviors shift and change, and their reasons for purchasing shift and change. And so when we launched this September, we came in with updated messaging, with really tight value proposition, with a much better description of the benefit and the result that the students would get, and was able to, reach the goal that they had of getting back to that seven-figure launch again. So I
That
did
is awesome.
funnel copy, emails, ad copy, yeah, funnels, emails, and ads for the paid
Uh,
traffic campaigns.
Amazing. And 6 months process to the launch culminates a week or two ago, seven figures. Awesome. Are you Did you lay out this 6 month plan of, hey,
No,
let's
so
no.
this business this woman has two multi seven-figure businesses, and so she has a marketing manager, and so they worked on their end to determine the timelines for the different launches and things like that, and then we work together to determine, okay, what assets deliverables on my end do you need, and time them out in that way. And then we go back and forth on, okay, what are you seeing in the with the members? What questions are they asking? Are you seeing new demographics coming? How can we make sure that we're attracting everyone? Is it still this motivation? Is it, and so that we're always keeping our finger on who, on the person that they're serving.
I love that. So if I'm hearing you correctly, the marketing department is saying, "Hey, we're launching this mini course or this new thing or this new thing,"
Mhm.
with the idea that they were going to have the big launch coming up at some
Yeah.
point. And then along the way, you're refining, learning, dialing in,
Mhm.
iterating. And so by the time the launch comes, it was just, did she fly
Yeah.
out and give you a big hug? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that'd be so fun. No, but that would be super fun.
That is awesome. All right, I want to talk about as far as doing copywriting for customers. I'm imagining, and I think the lady that you just spoke of is going to be a great example. She's clearly has a successful business. She's
Mhm.
generating the revenue, yet her brain says, I don't want to hire a copywriter. So, like,
I
what,
don't
what?
know if it was I don't want to hire a copywriter as much as she had one and they moved on, or for some reason they weren't
Mm,
working together anymore. And so I believe what happened was she hired a consultant who took a look at all of her stuff and was like, well, just do this and this and this. And just there were some holes and pieces missing because they weren't a copywriter. They were skilled in other areas. And I'm sure that all, the advice for those other areas was awesome, but the messaging just wasn't super dialed in. But yeah, it's easy to be like, okay, well, this is an expense that maybe I can just write it myself, or maybe what worked the last time is going to be fine. And sometimes that's fine. That works, and you test it and you try it and you're like, cool, all right, I'm on target. But when you're a super busy business owner, you've got a ton of things on your plate. And she has a brand that's a seven-figure brand. She also has coaching program, seven-figure coaching program. So she's in production and development over here and training and teaching over here. There's not room to be able to excel in all of those areas at the level that you need to if you're spending the kind of ad spend that you're doing and want to get that ROI that you're used to having. So
yeah. Someone who's never hired a copywriter before. I guess there's probably two kinds of people. Someone who's never hired a copywriter before, someone who has a copywriter that they're paying for their services, but the copywriter sucks. So
and you
they're,
don't know what you don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough
yeah, it's a tough one. So the person that's never hired a copywriter, solopreneur, maybe the
one.
solopreneur with some VAs, assistants, things like that. Internally is the battle. I know my customer best, so the copywriter will only be able to get 70% of it right, or what's that internal battle? Does that make sense?
It depends on how big their business is. So I think for a lot of new entrepreneurs or who are still growing to like the seven-figure level, a lot of it is, do I have the budget for this? Is this, if I use budget for this, for my marketing budget, is it going to make that kind of a difference? I don't know. It's just words, so it's that like balancing act. And now with AI and so many different, you can have your chat GPT and you've got your Jarvis and or Jasper, and you've got all of those different things. And I say by all means, if you're in that place and a copywriter is not in your budget, then you do what you can to get good. Do what you can to help yourself. Join a group where there's people in there who will review your stuff, learn how to train a chat GPT to help you produce, and then be willing to test and learn how to read the data, because that is what will tell you what's working and what's not working. So if it's budget concerns, by all means, I'm never going to pressure anyone to spend with me if they feel like that's every last hope is riding on my words. That is not the right time to hire a copywriter, probably. That is not the right time. It's when you become so busy that spending the money to have an expert do it is a better use of your resources because you know that their expertise is going to get you further faster. That's when you start thinking about this is something that I need to hand over and I'm happy about it because I know it's going to be a good choice for my business.
I love that. That is awesome. I'm thinking, this might be an interesting question, but anybody watching, listening can go to influencetour.com and see my landing page for my masterclass. And then influencetour.com/adventure, which is
Your
my,
Mifke?
yeah, my Mifke. Yeah, the most incredible free gift ever. Thank you. Where you see me in the process, so people who are listening to me or following me, they know where I am in the process, right? So out of that frame, like, what do you see as next for me, copywriting wise, funnel wise, key metric wise? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. So what we really should do this is dive in and take a look at your stats, starting with your landing page for the free masterclass and dial it in from there. Where there's room for improvement, we tweak and change and improve. I haven't seen those background stats. I know James probably has his finger on those and would let me know. But yeah, you just start optimizing bit by bit. And those optimizations, even just small percentages, can make a big difference, especially as you really get honed in on the exact person that you're talking to. You'll attract better qualified signups and be able to move them through that progression, that your sales journey faster. So that's is optimization, just repetition of the class and taking a look at reading the data, optimization, taking a look, do we need to switch out some email subject lines, maybe looking at your open rates are seriously so good though. I'm always just really impressed at those open rates because they're high for the industry that we're in. So that's amazing. People are reading.
Yeah,
So yeah.
no, I appreciate that. I feel like our emails are definitely on point. One of the fun email sequences that we've done is as I guest speak on podcasts and I get to know the podcast hosts, I ask, hey, would you be interested in sharing my masterclass with your audience, for example? Some I forget to I forget to ask that, but basically anybody who I speak on their podcast or they're on my podcast, they go on to my I can't remember what we call it, but the maybe affiliate list, right?
Yeah.
And so then we send out that email that says, "Hey, I'm launching the affiliate program," or "Hey, I'm about to do my masterclass. Would you be interested in sending people or sharing that with your audience, with your email audience?" And we just did a cycle of that, and I'm starting to get the yeses. It is so empowering. Yeah, it's so fun. I just
Well, what
I
you offer is anybody can be a guest on a podcast, but not anybody knows how to put themselves in the guest seat. So it's super, super valuable because, like you said, I know just by going through your content, like there are niche podcasts for anybody, and they're looking for people to be on there and give value. So, yeah, fill those seats.
Yeah, well, and I just, yeah, absolutely. And it speaks to the power of email and what you do because you help me craft those emails that we send out. And all of a sudden, someone says, yes, put me on. Yes, I want to share my stuff, your stuff with my audience. And it's a numbers game. And you know that from doing your cold outreach. You email to 100, 10 say yes, one actually does it. It's
Right.
that kind of a
Yeah.
process, right? But to continue on start looking at the data, you kind of need traffic for that. And so that
Mhm.
speaks. So I need people sharing and promoting my masterclass so we can have the data coming in, people going to the landing page so that we can start looking at do we want to tweak a headline or tweak the story or is that's basically what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Cool.
it does help to have a good amount of traffic having gone through it. It's really hard to get any hard data, if you're still trying to like get 100 people there or whatever. And I know, you're far past that, I'm sure, but the more people, the better and stronger the data will be.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, you had said the market is shifting. What are the biggest market shifts you see right now?
So, because we're in kind of a recession right now, people are more cautious about what they're spending on. So, you want to shift the way you're talking about what they're doing to promote the benefits of ways that it can help them either save money or generate income. That's super helpful right now. And just, making sure that you're always conscious of, okay, who is my person? What are they thinking, feeling, experiencing right now? Looking at, here's my competition, here's what they're saying, here are the, kind of like tone deaf little moments where I can fill in the gap to communicate better and about what my offer can do for them that maybe my competition can't. Because that's always really key too. If you can't stand out as different and unique, then you're going to compete on the basis of price. And that's horrible for everyone, even the consumer.
Indeed. How do you think I'm doing at what you just said right now, speaking to, you said save the money,
Yeah.
generate income,
Well,
and
I think,
that thinking, feeling, doing, like
yes.
where are
So
they in
I
their
think
brains?
I'm gonna say no, I think we're doing a good job because a lot of the pain points that people have that are attracted to your offer is they're trying everything in order to get attention, to get noticed so that they can blow up their business and generate leads and make more of a difference in people's lives. And things like ads have gotten super expensive. Organic content is brain numbing and a never ending battle. And so they're looking for ways to really put themselves in the right places at the right time and in ways that make connections with the right people. And that's what these podcast guest spots are doing when you look at the results that your clients are getting. And part of good copy is really highlighting those results too. We do that quite a bit, is talking about, hey, Stacy was on this podcast and then had a partnership, a $10,000 partnership with someone later on and things like that. And that just shows, proof of concept for one thing, but also that someone just like them is getting the result that they want that helps further their business. Anytime you can bring in a testimonial, it's worth its weight in gold, 100%. So
Yeah,
testimonials are a great way to tackle those market shifts as well, because you can't argue with someone else's story.
you can't. You just reminded me I have some new good ones that I need to get over to you
Oh,
that we
yes.
need
I
to
was going to
work
ask you
into the
that the other day.
copy.
Like, I know you've got more people in there.
Yes, yes. And I think it's fun to give people some insight if you haven't had a copywriter, kind of what we talk about and what are we doing. And those are things that we're working on. And what was I gonna say? I had, oh, you're a ton of fun to work with too. I think no, no, you are, but I think it's
I think
valuable.
you're fun.
When I
Since you're
meant that
staring me in
didn't
the
sound
face right
right.
now, I need to say
No.
that.
Yes, yeah. Since you're here, no, I was wanting to say is it is a ton of fun. It can be a lot of fun. It's fun, and it's fun to watch for me to have the story come up and to be able to give you things that we can use. And you're so passionate about what you do in copywriting that I know when I'm giving you good stuff because you're like, oh, yes, yes,
Yeah, I'm
yes, right?
celebrating. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I would say too, as well, I think one of my favorite things about you as a copywriter and as a business owner and what you do is you are constantly over delivering. You are constantly there for me and to help reassure me. I get maybe that's a good word, uh, but also and I don't mean like you're there at a moment's notice, like I can reach out to you on Sunday night at 9 p.m. But I mean, I go, hey, I'm
9
wondering
p.m. for
about,
you is 11 p.m. for me, so that's the ship has
right?
sailed for the day.
Yes,
I'm sleeping.
yes. I guess what am I trying to say? I feel like you have my back. And I don't feel
I do.
like that,
Mhm.
yeah, with a lot of vendors out there or agency out there or people who are providing support in the sales and marketing arena. Like I do feel like, oh my gosh, you have a vested interest in my success. And it's so empowering. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, good. I was going to say here too, I had a list of couple like like lightning round questions.
Oh, yes.
Where are most people failing today?
They try to market ahead of their person. Almost always. They're assuming that the person they're marketing to knows and understands more than they do. Because they know and understand certain things. When you're the creator of the offer, you're the developer of the product, you're that person who has already lived and breathed and bled the result that you've worked so hard to produce, you become removed in a way from being the person that needed it. And so a lot of times it's a dissonance between what the audience is aware of and what the marketing is trying to get them to accept. If they're not aware of what their problem is, they just know they're in pain, and you're over here saying, I have the solution. They're like, to what? So it's so easy to happen. I do it with my own stuff. You really have to kind of unplug your brain and try to really put yourself in the shoes of this person over here. And where are they? What do they know and understand? How can I meet them there instead of shouting and hoping for the best? Because some people will, like, they're just attracted to shiny, bright things and they'll hop over there. But a lot of people will be like, huh? I don't, where are you? And so it's a lot of awareness, being aware of what they're aware of.
That's great. Can you give me a literal example?
Sure. Sure. All right. Let me think. Well, a lot of times it comes out in a benefits versus features type of thing. So when someone has an offer and they've spent a ton of time building it and thinking of all the cool things to put in it to make it really attractive, they start focusing more on the thing than the result that the thing gives them. And so a lot of times you'll see, oh, this 6-week program has 27,000 video modules and some downloadable guides and coaching calls, and all of those things are great. But the person doesn't understand, unless you tell them, why those things are going to help them get the result that they want. So when you've got that offer stack and the offer stack just tells what it is, not what it does, it becomes immediately less attractive to the person and less urgent because they're seeing the stuff and they're like, okay, cool, that's great. But I have a bunch of stuff over here in my hard drive that I haven't even looked at yet that I spent money on and it didn't work. So I'm not sure I should really add to the stuff because the result wasn't presented to them. Like there's no contest, things tell, but results sell. And so sell the result, not
Yeah,
the features.
love that. I too, I think I'm reminded a lot that I'm removed. I have that disassociation or I'm removed and I've lost track of what I know and the expert that I am, where I say things where it's like duh to me, but it's not duh to them. And it perhaps is a totally new language, so they're not even understanding it. Right. Where now it's
Right.
common in my vernacular or the words that I use. And I will say, I was on a call, I was being interviewed by a super successful, 7-figure entrepreneur. And we were talking about podcasting. And I was saying the basics as though he knew them and he was being blown away. And I was like, oh my gosh, like people there, just what you said. Does that is just
Yes.
confirming, right? Where I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of words, but I was like,
And
oh,
we all do it with our own stuff. Everybody does it with their own offers. That's why sometimes the best thing you can do is take yourself out of the seat of writing your own copy and bring a fresh person in, because we just look at it differently when it's not our own stuff. It's why you can give tons of idea to somebody who's like, I don't know what to give my husband for Christmas. And they'll be like, oh, have you tried this? But if you, the person, just sit there and try to think of it, you're like, you can always come up with more better ideas for somebody else than you can for yourself.
Top thing you've learned in the last 3 years?
Oh gosh. Get out of your own way, Krista. I think for me, I have learned that I need to trust myself more and not try to replicate someone else's business results inside my business, because then it makes it not my business. And I'm supposed to be the leader of my business, not a business that I run that looks like somebody else's. And so, especially in the last year, that's been something that I've really been challenging myself. If I'm making shifts, if I'm making changes, is it because I see somebody else doing it and I admire what they're doing and the results? There's nothing wrong with modeling that, but does that fit with who I am as a person? Does that fit with my family life? Does that fit with my future goals? And then giving myself permission to say no and be cool with it. That might mean I never have a multi-million-dollar a year business. In fact, I do not really want that, because it would just change my life in a way that I would not like. Um, and that's okay.
Yeah, I was hanging out with another someone who's in our circles, and they said, Misha, most of us lose track of that. There's nothing wrong with a nice little $10,000 a month business. And I was like, oh my God. Oh yeah. He's like this illusion of chasing this multi-million
Right.
dollar a year business. It's like, hey, if us solopreneurs can create a little business that's generating 10, 20, $30,000 a month, like that's oftentimes more than enough and will provide us that time, location, freedom
Mhm.
that we want, right?
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
I think too, like we get insulated in our communities where it's the norm to keep chasing the rabbit, you know? But when you look at the people who live next door and the people who live in, especially in my rural communities, what I do is very different and unusual and hard to understand. And so if I get hard on myself for like not reaching this totally insane goal for me, they're looking at what I'm doing and they're like, how? Like, that's amazing. And you forget to be grateful and thankful and appreciate what you have if you're always focused on the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah. And philosophically speaking or spiritually speaking, that's a rabbit hole that is never fulfilled,
Right.
right?
And there's
It's like,
nothing
hey,
wrong with having goals and going
no.
after them. It's just appreciate what you have right now here too, because
Yeah.
that is the moment you have and it goes so fast. We just became empty nesters this year. And so, for parenting analogy, like it goes so fast. I would not want to accelerate time and have missed any of those moments.
In 30 seconds or less, what is your favorite framework?
My favorite framework is probably it's my messaging framework. I have an 8 pillar messaging framework that is just it's just rock solid. It gets results. It is the process I use to create messaging for the multi-million-dollar companies that helps them scale.
I'm going to give you another 30 seconds to dig a little bit more into the 8 pillar messaging framework.
So I have, so I love this framework because it actually came from a speech at Funnel Hacking Live one year and maybe you remember it, the road to the 2 Comma Club was that one where he had 8 people come up and talk about something that really made a difference in them achieving their goal of getting a 2 Comma Club award. And this was right in the time where I was hardcore trying to figure out how to break down how I was getting results for clients in a way that other writers could then take and I was like, I don't know. But as each person came up and gave another piece and another piece, it was like, this is the process. It's these 8 things. And so I took that handout. I have it over there on my bookshelf right now. It was like 2019, 2018. And I took that handout home and I sat with it for a while. And then I took it apart and I said, okay, if these are the 8 things that I mentally kind of walk through as I'm writing for a client, how can I distill this down into a process that someone else can do? And I realized that there were 3 internal factors that affect sales, that if you don't address it with your copy, the consumer will stay stuck. And there's 3 external factors that also affect sales, that if you don't address it in your copy, the consumer will stay stuck. And then there's 2 offer specific factors that can affect sales. That if you don't address it, you're leaving gaps and holes in your sales messaging. When you put all of those 8 pillars together, it is like a smooth ride from what are you selling again to I got to have that. That's exactly what I needed.
That's amazing. Do you, when we're working together, is
Yeah,
that the
I'm looking
frame
for
you,
those things. Yeah.
awesome. Boy, that's a great, great answer. This might be the same answer, but well, I think it is your same answer. I was going to say, what's your go-to framework?
My go-to framework. So for a shorter type framework, something that I like to use, the hook story offer is always great for like a short, I do a lot of short form video. So that's always great. What's the one and but therefore? That's a good one too for creating content. So, there's a lot of little ones like that, like pain agitate solution, just those little acronym type ones that really are great to pull out of your brain when you're needing to create some content that'll get to your people.
I love it. And but therefore, give me a quick example.
Yeah, so and but therefore is a storytelling framework. I learned it from Jim Edwards, of course. And basically, you start the story and say, and one day I was walking down the gravel road and I suddenly saw smoke. I wasn't sure where the smoke was coming from, but I was pretty sure that there was not supposed to be a fire down the road. But I didn't know what I could do about it because I'd left my cell phone at home. So I quick ran home, made the call to 911, later realized that somebody had been driving through the field, a spark had lit, and there had been a fire in the field. Therefore, I never leave home without my cell phone anymore because you never know when you're going to come across a field fire. That actually happened today. I wasn't out in it, but there actually was a field fire just a few miles from my house. And somebody had to call the fire department. It's no longer burning. Thankfully, it's very dry here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so how are we using the and but therefore the storytelling telling framework? Where am I using it? I mean, obviously, whenever I need to tell a story, but
Right. So
is
it's great for like VSLs or the little 90-second reels where you want to deliver a quick point and have that catch attention and lead them to take an action at the end. So make sure that you never leave your cell phone at home either by clicking this link and getting my checklist that has 10 ways to remind yourself not to leave your
oh my
cell
God.
phone at home.
Are you just doing that to your husband all the time? And therefore, make sure, Jeremy,
Oh yeah,
that
he's so
you know.
used to me like geeking out over commercials and like I can't read the newspaper without being like, ooh, that's a good. And he'll do it too. The other day we were watching a commercial and he's like, oh, that's a good advertising hook. So proud of you.
Oh my God, that's like peak moment right there.
Right? Like
Oh,
I work here and stuff.
you can leave the nest. Um, oh my gosh. All right, pain agitates solution. That's pretty obvious, but go ahead.
All right. Give me a situation.
Okay,
Be like
how about
improv.
this? My copywriting, like my funnels are not getting the conversions that I want.
Okay, awesome. All right. Every time I got into the back end of my funnel system, I felt like I was going to be looking at a graveyard because nothing was happening behind the scenes of my conversions. Everything was falling flat. I had no idea what the problem was. If I could figure it out, I would for sure change it, right? But here I was watching my money go down the Facebook Meta portal and never returning to me. So I knew what I had to do was start testing. So I decided to choose one piece of my funnel page and change it. And I started with a headline. So I came up with a different headline. That one didn't work either. So I tried again. That one didn't work either. So I finally decided, why don't I ask my target audience? So I made a Facebook post and and I tested some angles. I found one that worked, loaded up my funnel with a better headline, and lo and behold, my page stats went up.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And the
That
crowd.
wasn't a super good one because my brain power has been diminished.
Okay. That was still pretty gosh darn good. Hook story offer. I think everybody knows that, but go ahead. Give me a little riff. Hook story offer. What am I using or what are we going? What are we doing with hook story offer?
Well, I got a situation over here I can use for hook story offer. So every time I get on a Zoom call, my dogs try to tear up the place. That's my plan. I don't know what to do. It's like when I'm on a call, they immediately realize mom's busy. Let's wreck stuff. So they start wrestling. We've got stuffed animals, except they're not stuffed anymore. They're empty. They're flat animals because they rip the stuffing out of them. And I don't really know what to do. And one day I saw a commercial and it was like a busy mat for dogs. It was like, if you need to get some work done, you just put the treats in this mat with all these little pockets. I was like, hey, if that could buy me 40 minutes of peace and quiet during a Zoom call, I'm all in. So I typed in my little credit card. I bought the busy mat and some treats to go in it. And now when I sit down to do Zoom calls, I just tuck the treats in the busy mat, throw the busy mat in the other room, and it's quiet and peaceful on my Zoom call. So if you have problems with dogs who are like toddlers, when they know that mom can't talk right now and immediately pitch a fit, you need a busy mat. And so you should just click my affiliate link right now. And I do get a small commission for that. But your dogs will be so busy with the treats and the toys and the little pockets that you'll be able to have your call in peace. You're welcome.
Wallace, that little rascal.
He's the instigator too, I tell you what. He is. He's the smallest one, but he makes the biggest noise.
It's amazing. I've got three more questions.
Yeah.
Outside of copywriting, if you were to start a business today, what would it be?
I think I would, you know, that's a tough one. I would probably try to leverage my copywriting skills to do e-commerce of some kind, to develop a product or something like that, that I could just play with and tweak conversions and test copy and emails and like something that's not related to my brain though, like a product of some kind. So it wasn't personal. It's because sometimes selling your own brain powered offers is just mentally hard. I would pick something that's like totally no like weight on anything I've created. Just, hey, can you reach the right people with the right message at the right time? Let's find out. I think I could do
That's
that.
that's so awesome. I think what's fun about that too, that I think so many of us lose track of, you could actually just start running the ads or the copy or and not even have the product made yet.
Right. I mean, I could do affiliate or whatever.
Yeah. Or
Or
test, be like, hey,
yeah.
get this product. And enough people are like, I actually want it that you could
Then you do.
build
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Super fun. Where do you see the copywriting industry going? Yeah, where do you see the copywriting industry going?
Number one, copywriters have to learn how to use AI. You have to. Like, if you are going to survive, you have to learn how to use it for your benefit in an ethical way because it is a tool and it can help you if you learn how to use it to help save time, help generate ideas, help, you know, it can do a lot of things that save you time. Number two, choose something and get really, really good at it. So choose something within what you do and plant your flag and just get good, because there will be probably a lot of low-level copywriters who try to offer everything, write any word for anything. It will be hard to rise above AI in that way, because you're gonna have to have a higher level of expertise to really kind of stay in the game, I believe. Number 3, just keep loving what you do. When you love what you do, people want to work with you and serve your clients well, because it's personal for them, their offers, their sales, their results, that's personal for them, and what you do helps them. And so it's okay to just really over deliver. It's a good thing, not at the expense of your mental health or anything, but serve to the best of your ability for the kind of clients that are meant for you, and you'll never go hungry.
Beautiful. So good. Thank you for that. How are you using Chat GPT, bots, AI in your business? Tools, automations?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah.
So because I deal with information and verbal communication so much, I record and transcribe a lot of stuff. So that's one use. I use Otter for transcriptions. And then I use Chat GPT to clean things up. Like I could go through and edit, and it would take me, I'm a good editor, but it would take me a long time. And so I can more quickly get to the core elements of the interviews and stuff that I do, by feeding it into Chat GPT, telling it to preserve the content, but make it grammatically, punctuationally, and, make it correct, clean it up. I also ask it a lot, like, pull out themes. So make subheadlines throughout that pull out when subjects change happen in interviews and things like that, so that I can easily identify information faster. So I use it to save time. I use it to clean things up, get things to a place where I can start using it quicker and finding the information I need faster.
I love it. I lied. I have two more questions for you. They just came up. The first one, we had passed a message back and forth at one time. You were also wanting to train companies' marketing and copywriting departments. Yes.
Mhm.
And how's
Yeah,
that
I would
going?
love to do that.
Yeah,
I have not really. I would like to get into licensing with my courses and my certification to make that available to marketing agencies, companies that have in-house people, so that they can know that their people have a resource that will help them get results. I have not pursued that yet, but I do see that happening in the future. I would love
that's
to be able to make, I've done it in some ways inside ClickFunnels. I have trainings in there for the members with coaching programs and stuff like that. And I just really like it. Um, it's a lot of fun. It's a way that I can make a bigger impact without having to be everywhere all at once. So I can kind of send my virtual self in video and form and stuff like that. So yeah, I would really like to get into that. I've got my eye on somebody who helps entrepreneurs license, that I will eventually get some help from, to be able to get into like licensing, and so I
cool.
can basically clone myself and
Yes,
making impact.
I love it. Webinars slash master classes, still a functional, powerful way to sell and serve these days, or dead?
I think they always will be when done the right way. And I mean, you have to keep your finger on your audience. You may have to mess with the length. You may have to mess with the buildup before the webinar. You may have to mess with the follow through after the webinar. But people have been doing presentations since PT Barnum. I mean, even before then, and it has just changed. Like the presentation changes, the place where it takes place changes. And as long as you're willing to kind of roll with that and stay current with, the tech and the trends, visual, audible, video type presentations are always going to be effective when they're done by skilled people who really care about the people that they serve.
It's awesome. You know what I've noticed about me scheduling my masterclass slash webinar every month? Boy, it sure is helping me stay committed to getting certain things done. Lots
Right.
of messy action. It's pretty awesome. I just like this last time I was like, I'm not ready for the next one, but it was like schedule it anyway. And then all of a sudden I was like, man, all the stuff that I'm not ready with, let's start checking the boxes off. And so that's been very powerful. Just anybody watching, listening, that thought came to me. Okay, last question. Mentors. Your mentors, favorite mentors?
Oh gosh, I've just really been blessed to have such great coaches and mentors. Rachel Peterson changed my life. She believed in me when I had no idea what I was capable of and recommended me to her network when I really didn't have a clue what I was doing. It paid off for both of us, which was, you know, a blessing. Uh, Also, Bart Miller, he helped me during the phase when I was building out my certification, and just invaluable insight and connections and just, I mean, just great family. Love them. Um, More recently, Josh Latimer, he has been super key in helping me get comfortable with the kind of business I want. And just thinking about like what I want the future of my business to look like and how to just kind of lean into the challenges instead of seeing them as roadblocks, seeing them as just hurdles, you know, hurdles. And so that's, and I'm a Christian, he's a Christian, that, is common ground is like how to be an entrepreneur, business owner of faith and be true to that, but still have big goals and big dreams.
I love that. I'm familiar with Rachel Peterson, Bart Miller, most familiar with Josh and his family. What's his wife's name? Ashley.
Ashley. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just boy, what an amazing powerhouse, authentic, fun, cool family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're great.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. I think we've hit that wall. I know you're coming up on time and you're 2 hours ahead of me as well. So it's a
Yeah.
great place to stop. But before we do, inevitably, whenever I'm on an interview and I stop, I'm go, oh, I meant to say, or I wished I'd have, or anything come to your mind that you want to end with?
I think I'm good. I can't think of anything.
Amazing. Well
Ah,
done. Thank you. This has been a ton of fun. So thank you, Krista. I will hit stop and we'll say goodbye offline.
all right, sounds good.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.